Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 29 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy of the Holy War, and in today's episode it is time to end my phase because some very important information is coming our way through the story. And that's the reason why I wanted to end off the episode where I did last time before I ended my turn. Thove has fallen, has it? I almost feel bad for my brother, little more than a pawn in my dreams, who'd outlived his usefulness. Pamela, it's your turn. Lead your Pegasus Knights into battle at once. Sigurd is well clear of the capital. Seize it while he has no chance of aiding them.
Yes, sir.
It's actually funny because if you were allowed to cross the bridge the moment that you seized Thove, it would be a turn or two, and Sigurd would be, well, maybe like 3 or 4, and Sigurd would be at Celeste. He'd actually be at Celeste far and away faster than Pamela's unit, which is kind of funny in my humble opinion. But, you know, story quirks. The game has to work the way it works because, particularly, Kaga wants to display his storyline. And one of the things you cannot dismiss when it comes to Kaga is his storytelling.
Dire news, milady. Zaxxon has deployed Pamela's Pegasus unit and they're closing in on the capital. What? This can't be happening. So, at long last, Daccar has put to rest his tired old facade of innocence. Be at ease, milady. My squad will keep Pamela's at bay. Manya, are you sure you can do this? I've heard stories of the sheer terror of Pamela's might as a warrior. Of course. I know better than to take lightly such a formidable foe. But remember, I am one of the 4 Falcon Knights of Celeste. I never enter a battle ill-prepared. Ah, I'm so sorry, Manya. I already know well how you feel about all this, but To fight in your name is the only life I know. Milady, please, don't worry about me so much. If that's all, then I'll be going. Knights to me, move out.
So, it's a little bit of a long-winded enemy and ally phase. And the reason why that is because Manya and her crew are equally matched to Pamela and her crew concerning the numbers that they have. I do believe Manya's crew is slightly stronger than Pamela's. I think Pamela is stronger than Manya, though. It doesn't particularly matter because some dastardly reinforcements come to help Daccar near Zaxxon. And it's kind of one of these things where it's like, it shows off the grand scheming of this game, and I really do appreciate it. Sigurd is in the castle right now. I'm actually going to, as I said, sell off the Brave Sword and see if good old Alec here can get through the arena. And I think I'm going to do that right now. The problem is I really seriously doubt, humbly doubt, that he can get through the arena. And the reason why is because he's at Arena 3 before any of this happened. So something must have happened where I was like, okay, he can't pass this arena. Hopefully he can. You would think with his smattering of weapons he would be able to, but oh, I think I know why. The Forest Knight adepted him and I just gave up at the time. Yeah. So Alec would actually have a reasonable chance if he hit every one of his hits, and this Forest Knight did not adept. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to reset. I'm going to do this off screen. I'm going to reset and then go through the arena a couple of times with different units to re-roll the RNG. That's the best way you can deal with this. All right, attempt number 8 or 9, I think right now. I've had to go through the arena with Beowulf so many times. Beowulf is at 1 HP, and I just literally go into the arena. He's actually at the exact same arena fight, which is Sangor. The problem is that I'm not going to use Beowulf, so I don't really care if he beats it. Alec, however, I absolutely want to beat the arena. Feel like fighting another round? Yes. So Nikita, the Pegasus Knight with the Brave Lance. So I do have the Wing Slayer, but I honestly think the Brave Sword is going to be a better weapon for this. I'm going to try this fight as well. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so this is honestly... Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be an easy fight because Alec is definitely going to double. Nikita is a very, very scary opponent to some particular units that you have, because she does have a Brave Lance and she is actually very quick. And then rank 5 is Craft, the Mage Knight with Elthunder and the Shield Ring. This also could be kind of a little bit of a tough battle. What's interesting is that I kind of did something that didn't help my cause, let me put it that way. So I gave Finn to, it was either Finn or Quan, one of the two. He has to hit all 4 hits here. I gave Finn or Quan the Horse Slayer, so they left for Gen 2 the Horse Slayer, and that could have been helpful in some cases in these arena fights with some of my particular units. Not necessary. The Brave Sword will get you through as long as you're lucky, I should say. And Nikias with the warrior, as a warrior with the Brave Axe, I really think this guy's a non-threat. The only thing is, though, is that even after 6 hits right now, yeah, he's still not at half health. But at least he did not hit Alec even once, which is nice. Only doing 5 damage a hit, Alec? Are you a joke? Alright. He does have pretty pathetic strength at this current time, even with that +1. Once he's promoted, though, a lot of that fixes, because the male promotion for paladins is actually pretty good. Level 19, so he could actually get promoted here. Blacksmith. He could. That's the hope. It's not necessarily guaranteed. It just depends on who he's fighting. Atlas the Baron with Bolganone and the skill ring. So I think I have to use the Armor Slayer to win this. I'm going to try with the Brave Sword first. Yeah, this is a definite no-go. He's definitely not winning this fight. 62% chance to hit. Alec is only taking 1 hit. So the unfortunate thing about this is that I actually don't know how well he's going to do even with the Armor Slayer. What this means is that Alec is potentially not going to be able to beat the arena nor promote in this particular chapter. It's not the biggest of problems, but I will say the reason why it stinks a bit is that means that he's done with experience points gained for the rest of this chapter. I'm going to go ahead and reset and try again with the Armor Slayer. Alright, time to equip the Armor Slayer, and I'm going to try. I really don't think this is going anywhere. I really don't. Yeah, so Alec will double, and if he were to hit like I want to say he needs to hit, what, 6 times in a row? See? This is on the same RNG seed as previously, so Atlas will hit here. Oh, he missed. What? But it doesn't matter. Alec missed. Oh, it is still on the same RNG seed, but the problem is I'm not using the Brave Sword anymore. So again, another instance where I'm going to have to reset and just try again with other units. All right, one more go, hopefully, after what? I think this is the 9th attempt. I'm basically recording and just editing out the ones that are not successful attempts. It's taking me a while because I have to reset every time. Ooh, a miss at first. Not good that Alex missed twice though. Atlas missed again at 66 hit with the Bolganone. This is becoming quite the interesting fight here. And will he hit now? Atlas is actually quite the imposing enemy in the first generation concerning the arena, because he is a Baron with relatively good stats. You know, he only has 21 defense. It's not the highest defense you're going to fight, but he has a pretty good amount of damage with his Bolganone. This relatively means he only has 10 magic, though, with, a 30 hit. Or a 30 magic might attack, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Very nice that I passed the arena. So what this means is that good old Alec gets a boatload of gold, as well as... So I'm going to sell the Brave Sword. It was actually kind of a waste for me to fix it, but it's a little too late for that one. I saved a bunch in between, so there's just no way I'm getting there's just no way I'm getting the Brave Sword back to broken. Actually, that's not true. I could have easily allowed Beowulf to go through the arena. The problem is that he would need to be healed. Yeah, I think that's just a waste of time. So I'm going to go ahead and move out with Sigurd, of course. And then I am going to promote Alec. Masterfully done! You're now able to change class to a paladin. Would you like to do so? Yes, sir. So male paladins are specifically much weaker than female paladins. They have better promotional gains, technically. Not really. They have less magic promotional gain, if I'm not mistaken, less resistance, which I really value both of those things. Yeah. Pretty decent growth rates, though, or promotional gains. And then, you know, they have okay class bases. They have good class maximum stats, especially the male paladins when it comes to combat related such and such and whatnot. The problem is that they only have B rank in swords and in lances without any kind of holy blood influencing that. It still means he can use the brave lance and the brave sword, so it's not like he's struggling without weapon options, but it's still the point, right? Aaron needs to be moved first. Always remember that. As you can see, she can move a whole lot less distance than Alec when he's on the road. Like I said before, the whole flyer thing in this game is almost like a non-factor of whether or not it's a good thing, supposedly. Uh-huh. Rakesus can return you. I'm not going to return Dew and Bridget yet. I realized after I had made that episode that doing such would actually be kind of very detrimental right now because they need to pair. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be a while for them to pair. I think they're going to be one of the last pairs to actually be paired. And yes, so Sylvia has a Claude's conversation. This will help their pairing by a lot. I'm going to go ahead and move here. Dance with these two. And then I'm going to talk to Claude.
Hello there, Mr. Father.
And who are you?
I'm Sylvia.
Well then, Miss Sylvia, how can I help? Have you perchance recently run afoul of bandits?
What's that?
Well, I'm not sure how to put this. You're wearing nothing but small clothes.
Watch your mouth, Mr. Father. Haven't you seen dancers like me before? This is just a dancer's clothes. It's just like you wearing your churchy cloak.
Is that so? Surely you're chilled to the bone, wearing as little as you are, though.
Oh no, even round here I'm never cold, 'cause my heart's ablaze.
Is dancing truly so fun for you?
Yeah, I just love it.
Is that so? What of your parents? Do they agree with this career choice of yours?
Actually, I'm an orphan. When I was very little, my master took me in and helped me become a dancer. But he was an awful, awful man. He'd always beat me out of nowhere. About a year ago, I couldn't stand any more of it all, so I ran away.
I see. What a terrible tale. I believe I know your pain. I once had a sister who would likely be around your age if she's still alive.
A sister?
Yes, alas, she was abducted while she was still an infant. I've searched for her ever since, but to this day I've yet to find any sign of her.
Oh, I bet she's just like a princess. She's got to be all pretty and classy and nothing like me.
I disagree. I assure you, I do find you to be utterly charming in your own way. You possess a unique grace and beauty.
Oh, Mr. Father, really?
Of course, I could never lie.
Thank you. Nobody's ever told me something like that. This kind of feels funny somehow. Oh, great. Now I'm crying. What is this?
So it's a quaint little conversation. Unfortunately, and there are people who are going to make mention of this, it does insinuate certain things that are not very good. Certain things that are kind of pretty lascivious, like, for instance, potential incest. However, Claude and Sylvia couldn't possibly know because she was abducted when he was young, if she is actually his sister. The reality is that she's not. She has minor holy blood. Now, it is true that not everybody who's a sibling will get major holy blood, this, that, or the other, and that's fine. But there's no way to prove that she's his sister because of her obvious and very distinct difference in appearance, as well as the difference in hair color and eye color. Usually, those things aren't so drastically different. There are exceptions, though. Like, for instance, Ethlyn. Ethlyn was literally Sigurd's sister, and she looked nothing like Sigurd. So you could take that with a grain of salt and just say she's still a potential incest candidate here. I always pair Claude and Sylvia because I think it's the best pairing for the two. I don't care at all for the implications because, as far as I know and as far as is canon and understood, Sylvia is a distant relative of Claude. Ah, Duke Andre, I presume. You certainly took your time getting here. And oh, how magnificent. So this is Jungby's renowned Bonite Legion. Alas, my father is dead, and my sister is a fugitive among the traitors. This leaves me, and me alone, as the Duke of Jungby and leader of our legion. Against the might of the Beigenritter, these winged ponies stand no chance at all. Now sit back and watch them drop like flies. So yes, Daccar gets some very dastardly reinforcements from Grand Vale Empire through House Jungby. Andre is a buffoon of the most evil caliber. He is literally a man who has committed patricide. He killed his own father. This is not uncommon amongst evil people, and it's very unfortunate that it is the case that he would do such a thing, but again, evil people. A lot of people in this game are being influenced by the Loptrians, especially Manfroy. Andre was probably one of them. I'm going to tell you right now, people who talk about circumstantial influences or anything of that nature and say that that's an excuse for why somebody is this way, it's the reason. I'll tell you, sure, that might be the reason why Andre is evil, is because of the influences he's had in his life. It's not an excuse. The man should be shot and killed, just flat and plain. Him and his whole squadron of Beigenritter are going to face the sword very soon, and I'm very glad about that. Now, when it comes to the other conversation about Claude and Sylvia, did want to speak a bit more. I kind of very much hate, how she's the one shaming him in that conversation because he at first was shaming her for looking like she does. Dancers are not just dancers. They're basically strippers or whores or prostitutes of that nature. And this is being demonstrated just like how Homer and certain of the other dancers and folks in like Thracia are shown, because this did exist in the medieval period. And the fact of the matter is that some of these things are being brought to light, not because they're good things. It's not like they're trying to show off some of this stuff and say, oh, these are good things. I'm glad it's here. Everybody should move towards this evil. No, it's sort of like how Homer is recruited by Nana when he is in a brothel because the man is a prostitute. He is a whoremonger. And the fact of the matter is that he looks like one, he acts like one, talks like one, is one, and all of that is disgusting. It's not appealing. It's not something that should be allowed.
I'm sorry. I know you're not to blame, but this must be done.
Um, and what I'm trying to get along here on this is that in a medieval Europe, fantasy or not, they would shun and shame these things, not the other way around. So I don't really like Sylvia's response to Claude. I actually think her response should be more like pious and more like, well, tell me how I can improve, not, oh, you're the problem. That's very much so a modern response, and unfortunately, the modern response isn't the good one. It is the dark, not the light of the conversation.
It's been a while, Pamela. I've known you for years, ever since we trained side by side to become knights. But not once did I ever suspect we would someday find ourselves as enemies. Manya, only you would be so foolish as to resist or insist on following your queen to her inevitable grave. Why should I complain, though? After all, once you're out of the way, that leaves me as the greatest knight of Celeste. The only fool here is you, Pamela. No, it's too late to change your mind. You're so set on your fate. Very well. All I can do for you now is give you a last honorable duel befitting a Celestian knight. Ha! Sacharine as ever, aren't you?
And it is my phase. I did make sure to get the brave sword. Nice. Sigurd is actually not going to be the one right here. That'll be Claude and Sylvia, I think. Or Lewin and Tiltu. Yeah, Lewin and Tiltu, actually. Yeah, so I'm one of those people, and unfortunately, not a lot of people like these people, but I'm one of those people who believes in doing things rightly, goodly, justly, and the issue is that modern folk are definitely not doing anything right or just. I can actually return both of you. Very nice. And there you go. Perfect. Claude can fortify. I don't think anybody actually needs healing here, but whatever. Experience points is still experience points. He gets 85, not just 80, but 85 for one use of fortify. And it is time to dance. So, Ideen can warp you. Next turn, I'll be able to finish off the rest of my returns. And I will do such with just Rakessus. So Rakessus will be able to return Claude, then be danced for, then return Sylvia, then return herself. This is again why I have the return ban on Rakessus, because it just makes a lot of sense for this particular unit. Azel, you're going to stay in here, whereas the rest of my units who are in here who can move out are going to move out. Yeah, so granted, I'm going to be honest, I'm not over here trying to give people lectures, but I do think that there are some things about particularly these games that I know have to have been mistranslated or mislocalized, especially due to the fact that romanticized medieval Europe is just not this way. It's one of the reasons why modern Fire Emblem has fallen so far out of favor with me. I just can't. I cannot be bothered to believe that these people really think, these developers really think that Fire Emblem should change as much as it has, and definitely not for the better. I'm going to throw it out there. These guys don't need any more moving or consideration on movements. And then it is time for both the giant enemy phase and the giant ally phase to ensue. Once Andre's crew joins the fray, this is going to be over pretty quick. Pretty quick. Pamela's crew is going to either fly for Thove or fly for me over where Celeste and Celacia is, but I doubt that. I think they're going to fly for Thove, which is both good and bad because, granted, they're not going to be able to take Thove. There's none of these guys, well, none of these ladies, guys is a gender neutral term, but still, none of these ladies who are going to be able to take on Lex, especially when he is on the castle throne, the gate. So there is that. Very, very frankly, I do find that, again, this part of the chapter is made in such that you don't have to use return or warp to get your units back to the castle to do any preparations or anything like that. You have plenty of time to run back to the castle with most of your units and still make it to Celeste. And that's just how the game was designed in this particular quarter. None of these units have crit on each other because none of them have crit weapons, none of them have innate crit or the skill crit. So this RNG is pretty much set. There's going to be some instances where units don't hit or so on and so forth, and that's fine. But for the most part, it's just pretty much set. This enemy and ally phase. I still love the story being told, right? Kaga is such a masterful storyteller, especially through game design. Now, I will say that even though I had a top 5, right? I had a top 5 of my favorite Fire Emblem games, and I put Genealogy as number 2. Genealogy is still number 2. That's not changed. But I do think that Thracia...
Aaron, Prince Lewin.
Bye-bye, Manya. Bye-bye. So long. Unfortunate for your loss. I do believe that Thracia does have the better story than Genealogy, because Thracia's story is a little bit more cunning. I actually like Raedric and Veld a whole lot more than Manfroy and Arvis and Julius and all these other units and so on and so forth that are in here. I think that Thracia is a bit more well crafted concerning story. I just think that the game design itself doesn't illustrate story as well as Genealogy does. That's still something that Genealogy does better. Plus, Genealogy has more world building, whereas Thracia has a bit more character building. They're kind of two sides of the same coin. It's one of the big reasons why I'm such a big fan of the Jugdrol games. And I'm not just trying to say this because, I'm biased here. The problem is that when you look at objectively Fire Emblem games, at least up until a certain point, the point that I would include Fire Emblem games, which is basically till Fire Emblem 11. And then I also include Echoes, because Echoes, though it's in the modern games, it's actually not a modern game. It's not at all represented by modern themes, ideas, politics, agencies, agendas, so on and so forth. But it's just so amazing how that things are crafted in the Jugdrol games compared to basically the rest. Compared to the Tellius games, the Magval game, the Alibi games, the Alib games, it's not Alibi, the Arcanea games, none of them compare to the Jugdrol games when it comes to the story and the realms of what's going on with the plot as well as the world and so on and so forth.
Manya has been killed. How could this happen? I'm so sorry, Manya. Forgive me.
What? Manya's dead? You're joking.
Manya was... No, this can't be happening. How could anyone have killed her? This can't be.
Well, she was actually just killed by a dastardly crew, because I really don't think that Manya would have died if it wasn't for the dastardly crew. Okay, you can sit here. And these units can wait. Sigurd Neusch Azel. Ideen really, if I'm being honest, moving Ideen anymore is kind of not necessary. I'm gonna do it anyway just because I think there's still some things that she can do here, especially with Physic and Warp. And Restore actually is going to be very useful if I happen to get statused. So I guess she will be moved out. I think that's fine. Rakesis and friends. Need to be warped back, so I'm going to do just that. Return. Another beautiful reason why I love the fact that Sylvia is my particular unit that I've given the Night Ring and the Leg Ring to is just because she's able to keep up with your units. And then not only that, she's over here being a help even to this point and allowing me to take much less turns to prepare my units for the attack on Celeste. Because you do actually have to go pretty fast across that mountain. If you don't go fast, there's some relatively big consequences, and they're not like game breaking, but there are still consequences nonetheless. See, Claude, yeah, he struggled with the arena if I'm not mistaken. I'm not even going to bother with him. But that's pretty much it. That's everybody I can move right now. The Zaxxon phase is up. And then after that, I think this is the last couple of phases for them. I expected so much more from Celestia's famous Pegasus Knights. No matter, I suppose we might as well bring down the capital while we're here. Pamela, your unit will cross the mountains, besiege and capture Thove immediately.
Very well.
Okay, so they are going for Thove. Well, one of them is. What's going on here? Andre's crew should really be just picking up Manya's by themselves because Pamela's crew is not going to be able to do anything here. So when they do go to capture Thove, if they do, I'm going to keep Lex over there to get some KOs on the Brave Axe. But once I put him on the particular castle, I think they'll go back down to come and fight me again. It just depends on how quick I'm able to get to Celeste Castle, because if they're still here, like over in this realm, fighting with the Manya crew, hopefully all of Manya's crew dies this enemy phase. The reason why I say that is because if they do, then Pamela's will jump up for the northern castle. Why I want this is for a very specific reason. It means that I am not going to be bum rushed by too many units at the same time. Yeah, this should be the finish of all of Manya's. I don't think any of them have any kind of a void against any of the Beigenritter. I'm pretty sure it's Beigenritter. Beigenritter? I know it just means bow rider in German. That's what all of the good old names of all of the Ritters are. Like the Gelbenritter, the Panzenritter, so on and so forth. Oh, wow. One of them actually missed. There is 4 left to attack, so they should all still be defeated, which would be nice. If the other one misses, Andre could have a chance to attack here. I have my doubts, though. I think that was purely a fluke. And there we go. Celeste is routed. Kind of a shame for Celeste, but what can you do? Hazel. Rakesis needs to go through the blacksmith. Yeah, she definitely needs gold. This is going to be rectified once she's paired. Yeah, she finished that, so that's not a possibility. And she's still not paired with Azel. Some of the pairings in this game are a little bit too slow for my liking or my taste. All right, so with the shield sword, Sylvia can actually have a much better chance at defeating the arena now because she has miracle. You can manipulate how much damage she takes in a single round of combat. Like, let's say the unit that she's fighting right now does exactly 30 damage to her. The shield sword would put her into miracle, and depending on how much hit the unit has against her, it could just be an easy victory. That's going to be very cool to take advantage of, and I can't wait to do such, but it's going to have to wait for the interim between the episodes, as this is the end of my episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform of choice. Leave a comment down below, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.